Just how badly do players desire a Fallout collector box? What are they willing to do to get that box? Stick around because we're about to find out. We are about to find out what happens to a price of Fallout collector boxes when speculators unload hundreds of sealed boxes into the open market. Welcome back everyone, MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. A reminder before we start today's video, if you want to see more of the Moxman, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, as I have new content every single day. So this was the release weekend for Fallout, and of course there was all the Fallout collector parties, and yes, your local LGS was probably sold out of the product. Maybe they had some of the commander decks around, but the Fallout collector boxes have been a very hard product to get. We know this because everywhere was sold out, and all the LGSs I deal with now are all completely still sold out. But why are we seeing hundreds and hundreds of boxes showing up on everything from eBay to TCG Player to Amazon? Well, it looks like speculators really got in on this one. It looks like the speculators saw the excitement and hype building, and they just played Pac-Man, gobbled up a whole bunch of these little shiny things, and decided to hold on to see where the price would go. But now that the release weekend has gone by, and after spoilers for things like Thunder Junction are starting to already steal people's attention away, that means all these hundreds of unopened boxes are being put into the market space to see who will flinch first, who wants to buy the products, how low will the price go. These are the unanswered questions that are going to be plaguing so many different people wondering, is this the time to buy? How hard is this product actually to get when on the release day it was impossible to find, but as the weekend progressed, 10 copies became 50, became 100, became 200, became 300 sealed boxes that were available for purchase. There's a real takeaway here, and not all of it is good. Number one, it was an amazing IP. This product was just fantastically put together, and I have to give a good shout out to Wizards of the Coast and their R&D department. The IP was well received. The parties I went to, sat around having coffee with Commander players, enjoying this weekend, was phenomenal, and everyone was having a blast. That is the good news. That is the amazing part of the weekend, is everyone was playing Magic, kicking back, and having a good time. And I can't tell you how many people I saw come into the stores looking to buy packs of the collector boxes and said, did you happen to get any? Do you have one more sitting around? Can you? Nobody had any, but then as we know, they were showing up. Not every player wants to buy a box, of course, but they were starting to show up on Amazon, TCG Player, eBay. You started seeing more and more of these boxes as the days went on, just starting to accumulate. And that meant that the prices were starting to be affected. There were so many boxes at X price, then so many boxes at B price, and that race to the bottom, the natural attrition rate of who can withstand the pressure of boxes like this, is being met by players who may or may not be willing to pay those higher prices. There may be cutoff points where players aren't going to pay the price, and we all know attention gets drawn away very quickly from today's Magic the Gathering fan base. There's always something else coming down the pipeline. But Wizards, don't forget, already made their money, and they've got a huge takeaway from what just happened. They've got the secondary market. They can look at the data and information. They know the price points of the IP. They see where the products were selling. They are just loving the information they're receiving right now. But the speculators as well made a lot of money on the FOMO, the hype, the buyouts, the sellouts, the fact that nobody could get it, LGSs arguing with prices, trying to bring things down, but also try to make a few bucks. This was one of those unique, kind of perfect storms where everything kind of met together and craziness happened. But there will be takeaways. There will be things learned. Players will understand that these are going to come to market. The fact we're seeing hundreds and hundreds of boxes, and I got to about 480 before I stopped counting, by the way. When you see that many things hit in the box, that's 480 boxes at an average price of what? $300+, like $350 US, whatever. When you see that many boxes, you know that's the secondary market, that's speculators buying these boxes out. So you don't have to fear FOMO. You don't have to fear missing out, because those boxes are going to show up. They're going to slowly go down in price until they get back to being affordable again. Because the speculators, they can only hold on so long. They got to move their money into the next thing. Amazon will lower their prices over time, and eventually distributors who may have been in on this whole speculation thing, they may be releasing the product back to their regular LGSs to be purchased at a regular price. Interesting to think, though, that all these different parties all could have had a hand in creating this FOMO, because that's the scariest thing to me as a player, is if distribution and all these higher ups, the above the middlemen, you know, not your local LGS, but the people above them, if they all colluded and got together, this would not be that hard to accomplish. And I know that's a tinfoil hat thing, but if you have a lower print run of boxes and you have a price point where you can make a few bucks by just not releasing it all or holding some back, and the fact that LGSs didn't order that much just because they fear being stuck with this product on their shelves, you have that perfect storm working out really well in the case of the higher ups. Just saying, for future reference. Now, that doesn't mean that these boxes won't be available and won't get cheaper over the intercoming, the next weeks, months, and the next year. We all know these things drop in price the further we go out, and we haven't seen recovery time on any premium product ever. Remember that. They all don't seem to go above a certain level, and they seem to stay pretty stale because Wizards' reprint schedule is so insane that things don't go the way they think. Players are expecting things to climb in value. That's not the way it is. These cards do have value, and they will grow in value if Wizards doesn't reprint because they get harder to find, and that means the boxes go up in value. But with the reprint schedule the way it is, people don't believe that's going to happen. Even with a tighter print run, we all know they can come up with a new set, a new premium product that they could reprint key cards in. So I'm not going to take that away from anyone saying that it's never going to happen. Of course it's going to happen. Even with a tighter print run, it just means for a while, for a couple of years, it'll be hard to get these. And in that intervening couple of years, you'll see prices climb on those products. You will see an increase in the price of those singles, which of course means the boxes will stay flat where they are. You're not going to see collector boxes reaching 1,000. I don't care if people are trying to sell it for that. You're not going to see them hit those levels because there's nothing justifying that. There's nothing that can hold those values up other than the fact if it was a one-on-one box. If they serialized the boxes and told us exactly how many there were and then said we're never reprinting again, here it is written, signed, sealed, and delivered. It's just not going to happen. But I'm kind of curious now to see where these boxes are going to go now that they're on the open market. Because we're about to find out if this is a buyer's market or a seller's market. Guys, depending on how popular this IP really is and how many speculators are holding boxes, if we see these boxes still selling, and I'll keep a track of it, we see them still selling at reasonable prices. And yes, we're still seeing some box sales of 20, 30, 40 boxes in the last couple of days, of course. But we're not seeing the market get wiped out, even with them all of a sudden being readily available. So there is a finite amount of players willing to buy a sealed box, especially at that price point. And we also know because of the reserve list sales this weekend that players were turning attention to a lot of reserve list cards and not buying some of these other products. But the Fallout is a good IP and it is a well put together product. I can't stress that enough. I still think it'd be better to go for the actual commander decks and then pick up the individual singles you want. But if you're a person who just wants to have fun opening random packs from a collector box and seeing what amazing cards and artwork you get, I get the thrill of the hunt. I like the crack addiction. I'm one of those players myself, but the price points for these products still seems too high to me. When they were being pre-sold locally for, I think, $3.29 Canadian, that was what they were being pre-sold for, when they first went up. And then, of course, after a few weeks, the price started to change. But when we saw them at that price, players didn't just dive in and buy them all. We hadn't seen all the spoilers yet, so there was almost nothing being sold. So that's interesting, right? No matter how good the couple of pieces of artwork you saw were, it still wasn't selling. So things can change when it gets harder to get something. And I did that video showing you guys psychologically what happens when we can't get hold of things, when we can't have what we want. You want it that much worse, that much badder, that much more ugly. And you'll do crazy things to get your hands on it. And this is just like a ticking the box thing of what not to do when we're going into the future with products like this. Because if there's hundreds of boxes showing up now, we know that there's probably tons available. You just have to wait and be patient. And I always stress this whole patience thing and staying on budget. And I feel like a broken record sometimes. And my regular viewers get where I'm going with this, especially if you attend the live streams and stuff, how I feel. But at the same time, sometimes it's nice to be first. Sometimes we like to buy these things because we in our heads we feel we deserve it. But at the same time, you deserve to get good value for your money. An amazing product doesn't mean the price has to be jacked up. Doesn't mean it has to get out of whack and out of sync with reality of what it's actually going to sell for 6, 7, 8, 12 months from now. So always keep that stuff in mind, because I've learned some valuable lessons about Fallout from everything I've seen. I've jotted down notes on what to look for, and I'll report on this stuff as it comes up in the future when you see these type of similar kind of, I guess, history repeating itself. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, thanks again everyone for coming out and hanging with me here on the video today. The key takeaway here is the boxes are out there. We'll keep a track of what's happening. Prices are falling slowly but steadily. Don't expect some cheap deal tomorrow, but you're going to see as people need to flip the money, it's going to get cheaper quick, okay? They'll drop right down to whatever their basically buy price was, so they can at least break even, knowing that if they sold 10 or 12 boxes at the super high price, they've already made a couple $1,000s. That's right, free tendies, people, if you knew what you were doing. All right, guys, thanks a lot for hanging out with the Moxman today. Thanks for being here in the green screen world of wherever I am right now. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for another video. Have an awesome day. And yes, bring a friend to Magic and play some games, because it's awesome. Hey guys, a shout out, a thank you to the demigods of the channel, to my table lords, all the amazing patrons we have here, even the party room patrons. Because the amazing patrons who support this channel every day, my YouTube membership members, we are able to put out daily uploaded content every single day of the week. So thanks again to the amazing patrons. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Well, well, well. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. Don't forget to put Fallout in the comments section so I know you made it to the very end of the ramble, okay? So here we are, and it's the opening weekend. Players are ecstatic. They had a great time. Every store I went to that was doing these Commander days, they had a blast. And yes, I only popped in for a coffee. I didn't actually play because I didn't buy any of the Commander decks, and I didn't have hours to spend. And I wanted to hit up like 4 or 5 stores. So I chilled out, had a good time, talked to some people. Not a bad thing to say, other than the prices or the fact the local LGS didn't have enough in stock. But the LGS are being cautious. It makes perfect sense, guys. You can't expect them to just keep spending money all the time to get these products in and then being afraid if nobody buys it and it's sitting on a store shelf. Remember, many products right now are sitting on store shelves, and just because we have one hit in Fallout, that doesn't justify them investing that kind of capital into a product. So I can see where they're going with it. Either way, I can't wait to see what Wizards gives us next, man. Thunder Junction's looking better. I'll hit that up this week with all those spoilers and stuff. Bloomburrow's still got my heart. And of course, Modern Horizons 3 before we know it. And Duskmorn. Oh, please be really evil and creepy. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy the day. Oh, don't forget live stream. I hope you had a good time when you were there, because I'm filming this on Sunday, and this is about an hour before the live stream. So I hope you had a good time at the live stream. All right, guys. Later.